Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for January 3rd through the 9th of 2021. First full week of the new year kicks off, actually, on Monday the 4th when Mercury conjuncts Pluto in Capricorn. This activation takes you into the depths of your own mind and consciousness, deepening all communications. You may find yourself obsessing over something, either by yourself or in an attempt to convey something to another. Superficial, quick once-overs, trying to keep things light, will not likely be possible with this energy. You may feel determined to dig a little deeper until you get to the core or base issue. It's great for soul searching when it's motivated by a genuine desire to know the truth, to know it rather than evade it. It's not so good when you're obsessing over someone or something which no longer serves you or your highest good. The challenge with this energy is the tendency to be really intense and locked in on your own point of view, which is no less valid, but often this type of mental intensity blinds you to something obvious that you overlooked because you were not being objective, but being driven by much deeper, possibly unconscious emotions. Your intensity is capable of influencing others, but be aware of the difference between sharing information and trying to convince, convert, or cajole others, as that can naturally attract challenges and opposition. Remember, the opposite can also be true, where you're on the receiving end of this intense energy of someone else trying to convince you. The best way to use this energy is, as it doesn't really last that long, is to turn that intensity towards self. Peel the layers to your own truth and purpose, and go deeper into your own subconscious motivations. The channels are open for a time, and you can communicate and receive information from the deepest part of your soul self. This is also an initiation. So this is the transformation of your thinking in kind of the ultimate way. Now, Pluto's been living in Capricorn between 2008 and 2024. That's 16 years. Mercury pretty much goes through Capricorn every year around this time. So we've been renewing our consciousness in the Capricorn department for years. But it is wrapping up. And it's only got a couple more years to go before that whole rewiring of the consciousness actually shifts into Aquarius, which is kind of a big deal. So we want to get all the good out of this renewal of the mind and thinking and ideas, thoughts, concepts that serve our Capricorn department, which would be our dedication and responsibilities and boundaries and obligations. All that's part of that department. Then on the 6th, which is Wednesday, Mars enters Taurus, finally moving on from its extended stay in Aries. This energy is driven to create something useful and beautiful, or at least making enough money to afford the useful and the beautiful. There is a deep-rooted understanding and inner knowing that rewards come through hard work, dedication, and patience. You will work harder than ever during this time. That's why it's vital to stay focused. The underlying drive here is often financial security, but we have to go deeper to the personal values and priorities. You must understand fully that money is one of the many resources and is not always a guarantee of happiness. Food, sex, and money are personal aspects of life that we all have our preferences about. But when you are evolving, so too do your tastes and desires. So it is good to consciously upgrade when Mars moves through Taurus. What are you attracted to and repelled by at this time? Think about that. Because after the rewiring in Aries of basically who you are and what you want at the fundamental level, now it's shifting into what do you value and what does it feel like and what makes you feel safe and authentic and connected and alive and vital. Like the vitality piece is coming in. And so life can take shape now that you've activated a desire. Now, what do you want to build with that energy? What do you want to create with that energy? That's what Mars and Taurus is going to help us do. Whatever you're working on or creating at this time has the capacity to be of great value or possibly bring financial gain. However, that should not be your primary motivation. Taurian energy has a single-mindedness about it, which is great for accomplishing a goal or finishing a project, but not so great for starting new projects or moving in a new direction. Okay, it's harder to get started in a brand new direction unless you're really dedicated and passionate and excited about it and all that, fired up, right? Then on the 8th, which is Friday, so we got Monday, Wednesday, Friday here, Mercury enters Aquarius until March 15th, because this is where it's going to linger in retrograde. Normally, Mercury spends 3 weeks in a sign. It's going to spend 2 months, which is 8 weeks. So Mercury moving in for an extended stay in Aquarius is going to wake up your consciousness in that area of life, so your Aquarius house. We are getting a chance to dig into any dogmatic thinking, rigid, crusty old consciousness, or any mental rut that holds you back and keeps you small. 2020 has been liberating in that you can truly reinvent yourself in any way that you can imagine. So this 2-month period will help you unlock your unique genius and inner creative critical thinker. I love that. You're going to be best supported when your heart approves the ideas, thoughts, or concepts that Mercury is lighting up for you. Ultimately, this is an opportunity to release any attachments to the old story of the old you. 2021 is new territory, and we've all been stripped pretty raw in 2020. So whatever parts of you, your ideas, thoughts, and concepts that are still solid, those are the unique aspects of you that need to shine through in your words, thoughts, and deeds going forward. So use this review to clarify where you've held on to an old persona over long, assess how rigid your own thinking can be, and under what circumstances it hurts more than it helps. And you can break out of your own rut if you are conscious about this time. This is also a good time to ask your guides for the most creative solutions, radical ideas, and unique brilliance to be awakened and channeled through you in a healthy, productive way that expands your individual world and makes you more valuable to the team. We can all use a dose of that. So Mercury, our consciousness, moving into Aquarius. So we want to be progressive. We want to think future. We have to do a review. We have to clean things up in a certain way. We have to detach, and we have to reconnect with the heart. And then we have to rewire the head and heart to communicate properly so that the new ideas going forward are always, always rooted in love and truth of your heart, the authenticity that comes from operating from your heart center. That's what we're activating and renewing. And it's also really brilliant for creative ideas. So if you've been lacking ideas, it might wake them up. If you've had ideas, it might freshen them up and wake up new facets to them and get you thinking in new ways. It's a good thing, because the idea is to shake off some of the crusty thinking or the old ways of thinking and move yourself ahead a notch or two. So let's call that in as needed. Then on the 8th, Friday the 8th, Venus enters Capricorn until February 1st. So for the rest of January, this activates an upgrade to the structure and foundation of your life. You are responsible for creating, maintaining, and sustaining your own life. Essentially, Venus is renewing the values and priorities in your Capricorn house. It is time to own your own authority, anchor your innate ability to run your own life, and renew the definition of emotional security and physical boundaries. What is most important to you around the fundamentals of home and work and self and other, or the individual and relationships? Here and now today, this is the vital part of that question. How you make decisions and define security has likely shifted dramatically since 2013 and will shift again by 2022, which is the next time Venus retrogrades in Capricorn. This month, you are supported to establish new roles, rules, and responsibilities for yourself. Does what you have been dedicated to building and maintaining actually reflect your deepest core values? Do you spend your resources of time, energy, and money on memories or material items, education or elitism, progress or postponement? Capricorn energy always reveals where you are rigid, dry, and unstable. It's about carrying your own weight, not the weight of the world. And Capricorn is also very present to the here and now fundamentals of home, work, food, and shelter. It's time to dedicate your efforts toward productive ends that both support you and serve others. It's time to meet your inner architect, who can help you survey, clear, dedicate, design, and ultimately build the new clean foundation to support yourself that is based on your own true values and priorities of now. So important to kick off the new year with your own dedications and commitments to what's important to you this time. I just did a thing today. It's New Year's Day with my husband, and we mapped out, daily non-negotiables, weekly non-negotiables, and weekend non-negotiables, like the things we really want to get done in those 3 segments of time in our lives, and talked it out, mapped it out, and we have more to do to kick off the new year, but Venus and Capricorn is really going to support you in defining your terms of what's going to be the priority for 2021. What didn't get done in 2020? That's what we did. We looked at our list of intentions and what got done and what didn't, and we're about 50-50, which is better than we expected. It felt like we didn't get that much done, but when we looked at it, we really did. So this is part of the value of checking in regularly or keeping a journal or a calendar of some sort so that you can track your life when these waves of energy come through and alter your whole foundation, which is the kind of time and energy field that we're entering for the new year right now. So same day, the 8th, which is Friday, Sun is going to sextile Neptune. This energy activates your ability to dissolve the ego momentarily and allow your soul self to shine through. Your spiritual center, base, or practice comes up. So how is it supporting you? If you have gotten away from your practice, this energy will make it easier to dial it back in and connect to your spirit, your intuition, and the vision for your life's purpose at this time. That's the beauty of sun illumination with Neptune, the spirituality planet. You may find where your contribution is most valued when you step outside of yourself and see how others' needs are important. Basically, we need to think bigger and attach our goals to larger causes so that we are working towards something greater. And in that process, our needs are met automatically. It's so deep. Find a need and fill it in your own deliciously unique way, as you will be more giving and compassionate under this influence. Your physical energy may be low as a result of Neptune channeling the sun's source energy inwardly to recharge your spirit. Otherwise, it could be projections of all kinds, yours and other people's as well. Best to spend some intentional solitude, preferably in nature, if, when, and where possible. So, again, really easy to dissolve the ego, which can cause conflicts with other people. Anytime we're dealing with Neptune, I'm going to always remind you about your personal boundaries and filters. Are you perceiving things clearly? Are your filters clean? Are your boundaries good? Is whatever's getting your attention worthy of your attention and worth your time? Same day, Friday seems to be our big day. Mercury moves into Aquarius, Venus moves into Capricorn, and then they start touching things and they waking things up. So Mercury is going to square off with Mars. This is its first activation related to the retrograde, okay? So when Mercury goes backwards in Aquarius this time, it's going to square off with Mars 3 times over. But guess what? It's going to conjunct, which is an initiation, with Jupiter 3 times over. So here's the thing, when you combine both influences and really think about the combination of the review getting ready to happen, it is about changing our thinking around who we are and what we want, our Mars desire nature. And if we can do that, then even though it won't be a smooth initiation because there's this back and forth with Jupiter, it's going to initiate something. It's going to wake up your consciousness and initiate a new level of awareness that's so valuable to co-create with, let's just say. And so this week kicks it off. The first hit, Mercury square Mars, is January 8th, the one we're going to discuss now. It'll happen again on February 10th, and the final time, March 23rd, which is very close to our spring equinox time. So see what I mean by the first quarter of this year really being about organizing your thoughts and figuring out what old patterns have been demolished by 2020 so that you have no choice but to dream up some new patterns and new directions and new goals and new desires. and new ways of accomplishing your goals. Maybe we have the same goals, but we've got to find new ways to get them done, which is that renewal with Mars that happened. So that's really interesting too, that Mercury's fresh into Aquarius when Mars is fresh into Taurus, allowing this square to happen. So this activation can be tough for some if your beliefs are out of alignment with your actions and choices. If you are not self-aware or you act out unconsciously, being selfish or childish, then watch out, because squares test you to grow and change in some way. Often this also means that you're suppressing your own nature in some way, which is never really a good idea. When you suppress your soul, it can make your human more sensitive or defensive, taking things personally as a threat or challenge. If you catch yourself feeling irritable for no apparent reason this week, try to step back and gain some perspective before responding to either your own thoughts or another's words. Mercury and Mars getting together in this challenging way can provoke debates and in some people actual fights, so be careful. Since it's Mercury, it's probably more verbal, but who needs that drama? The deeper aspect of this activation is that some part of you wants to express, perhaps in a new way, and your ego is threatened and the monkey mind has got you all off track. Mars demands that you know who you are and what you want, and is the sacred masculine part of you, which is supposed to hold good boundaries, protect you, and negotiate on your behalf in the world. If you know something that you're not acting on, this can be frustrating. If you're acting in ways that are not allowing you to think things through, this too can cause accidents, problems, and delays. It is best to pull inward until you are clear. And also keep in mind, you may not be out of alignment in the above ways, but those around you may be, and will likely have no context for what they are feeling, and therefore become indiscriminate with their own choices and actions. Self-preservation is not selfish, but essential at this time. So deep breath. This is also a process that's going to happen over the course of 2 months of reorganizing what you think about who you are and what you want right now, and challenging you to grow in those departments. And again, Aquarius to Taurus is just the whole theme of the year. The whole theme of the year, y'all. So if you haven't gotten to the overview of 2021 or the special alignments of 2021, they are linked at the bottom of this blog and in the email that I sent out to my e-list. So if you're not on that, you'll want to get signed up so that you're notified of these things. And of course, I'll refer you back throughout the year. So, the 8th is finally over, and we move on to the 9th, where we have Venus trining Mars, which is actually very useful considering the rest of the things we have to deal with this week. Venus rules your values and priorities where your relationship with love and money are concerned. It is the sacred feminine within that innately knows how to co-create with nature and what to cultivate and nurture to full development. Mars rules your desire nature and your inner sacred masculine, which is responsible for getting your ideas into the world, maintaining your personal boundaries, and negotiating on your own behalf. When both are channeling through you in a balanced way, like now, what you create and how you move through the world becomes a beautiful dance, or at least a much more interesting story. The trine is a blessing of ease and grace, an easygoing energy that paves the way for balance and reciprocity, and encourages independence within the context of relationships. Communication is usually smooth at this time, and exchanges can be mutually beneficial. Any relationships started under this influence have a good chance at success, whether personal or professional. So like I said, when our inner sacred feminine and masculine are clocking together in a good way, we get a lot more done in a short amount of time. And the last activation of the week is Mercury conjunct Saturn. So really interesting. Mercury did some interesting things here, and I looked it up and double checked this. It's not going to be part of the retrograde. It's so interesting. It's only going to link up with Saturn once, but it's going to link up with Jupiter 3 times over. So this energy is excellent for any important project that requires your undivided attention. If you've got a vision and have already outlined how to manifest it, now is the time to really fill in the blanks, flesh it out. Bring it to life. Do the work. If you do not channel this energy toward patiently and methodically taking the necessary steps to get to the next level, then it can manifest as frustration and feel as if you are not doing what you know in your heart you are supposed to be doing at this time. It leads to negative thinking and self-sabotage. A better expression would be to not think of the things that can go wrong, but entertain the possibility that every door opens and all paths lead to your goal, no matter how they appear in the moment. This is also the initiation of some very new ideas around how you want to live your day-to-day reality. And the fact that we're only getting one chance to initiate a new reality this way, but then we got to go do extra work on what we believe to be true or possible, tells me that at least in this front end, we should be thinking about security, boundary, protection things, let's just say. So what are the nuts and bolts? What are the bones of it? What are the absolutes that you have to function properly? You get that structure in place, and then the back and forth with Jupiter will dump us out in spring with the ability to sort of fill it in with the most beautiful imaginative vision we can conjure at this time. So let's not be daunted by the blockages and things that are going to happen this year, just for sure. And things are not going to be easy to start this fresh new direction, even though we know we're in new territory. So you have to sort of take your successes and take your lumps in stride and not get too hyped and excited over the things that go right, and don't get too down and depressed over the things that go wrong, because it's going to be a 50-50 year, y'all. So we want to count our blessings and keep our energy high, keep our vibration high, keep our energetic field clear so that we're not magnetizing any sticky, icky stuff that's hard to scrub off of our energetic field, right? Let's keep that tight. The last thing in this week's post is a note that I just wanted to remind you. I did do the 2021 overview and linked it in here, along with the special alignments. Also, I shared the following with my e-list, but wanted to share it here too. If you haven't seen it already, I'm putting the 20-minute video introducing my new Soul Sisters Circle, which is a monthly subscription and a seasonal community gathering. I'm looking to gauge interest, how many want to gather monthly, and how many would prefer to get together every 6 weeks. Please feel free to email me directly with any questions or to be notified when I officially launch. The other offering I haven't mentioned often on my Karmic Tools website is my Mystic Mentorship, so check that out too if you're looking for some one-on-one support. One love. All right, that's my little note. Finishing up this forecast, thank you so much for being part of my community. Thanks for listening. As always, reach out if you need to, and know that I wish you nothing but continued success and health and well-being in this new year. As bumpy as it will be miraculous. As challenging as it will be innovative. And for all the frustration of starting a new life, we're going to have the excitement of starting a new life too. The exhaustion and limited funds of starting a new life, that's a challenge. But it's also really exciting when you set up new space for yourself to blossom and grow in new ways. And that's what 2021 is all about. And I support you, and I'm very, very grateful for your friendship and support. The community is everything and has been everything throughout 2020. And I look forward to still trying to connect with you all in person, just in small groups. All right, everyone, this is Kelly Beard signing off. Have a fantastic week.